Fran, you guys hit the first 4 shots that you took right there in the game, and then right after, I think, the first media timeout, they went on a 16-1 run, something like that. What happened at kind of at both ends of the floor that kind of spurred that?
Yeah, pretty much, you're right, Scott. Pretty much what happened the other night. You know, we struggled on offense, big time, and you know, they got running a little bit. You know, they scored some buckets. It's problematic at both ends. You know, I thought our offense was better in the second half, consistently better. We got, I thought, better shots. You know, made a couple runs. That's good. But we had that one stretch where it didn't seem like we could score. You know, so we went from, you know, we're changing personnel, changing the offense, running different stuff, and it was a struggle for us in that stretch. We had the same thing the other night. It was a big time struggle. You know, those runs, everybody points, like I said the other night, point to the defense. And the defense wasn't as good as it needed to be, but the offense was worse.
Is there anything you can put your finger on as to why it didn't change from Tuesday to Thursday?
No, I think you got guys that are trying. I think, you know, they were moving the ball. I think we moved the ball a little bit better. We executed at times a little bit better. You know, we definitely got to the glass better. I mean, you know, that was the thing that stuck out the other night. You know, when you're struggling offensively, you got to go get some back, and we didn't get enough back. And tonight we got 15 offensive rebounds. You know, so that's, you know, that's a team that's fighting. You know, and we had multiple guys. You know, TC got 6. I challenged him. I said, "You didn't get an offensive rebound. You're 28 and 8, but you didn't get the offensive rebound." So he comes back and gets 6. So I'm really proud of him.
What do you think you can change defensively at this point in the season?
We can change a lot of things. You know, again, it starts with, you know, maybe some longer possessions on offense to make sure that we get a great shot. We shot it. We play fast, so sometimes we quick shoot it, and sometimes that lends itself to not having guys ready to offensive rebound. So it's not all their fault. So I think better offensive execution. And our zone was decent at times. You know, we played a little bit of 3-2. That was horrendous. The 2-3 was better. The press, we got a lot out of the press. Both presses, had some good stuff there. We were better in man. I thought we were more connected. Whether they were running ball screens or sets, we were more connected and I think more aggressive, more physical in man. Our zone was not what it needed to be. Now, you know, they've got a lot of guys who can make plays off the dribble and play in and out. And, you know, they can put 5 really good on. They got 5 guys in double. They got 5 guys. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes, play a zone against a team like that.
Your lineups mid-game, are you changing that game to game? Is it all situational, or do you have a sort of plan of attack?
No, you know, I guess some guys do it that way. I don't do it that way. You know, it'll depend on, you know, who's tired, you know, who on the other team is hurting us. You know, are we making a defensive sub? Are we making an offensive sub? You know, who deserves an opportunity right now? And you know, like with Bear, I mean, he played pretty well. And all of his mistakes, if you go back and watch the tape, will be a result of fatigue. As long as he was, you know, feeling good and he's hustling, he's making plays, he's running back, he's challenging defensively. But, you know, he doesn't get back, he fouls a guy, he was shot. I had a guy at the table ready to take him out. You know, the one move he made, he was shot, you know, and he's just got to move it. He's got to understand that.
You still have a really young team. I mean, you're playing primarily sophomores and freshmen, and there's been slumps the sophomores have. Freshmen are still learning. Is consistency kind of the primary issue right now for them, and maybe seeking a role that they can do and execute at a higher level?
Well, you know, you have a lot of young guys, all of whom want to play a lot, and they all want to have a role, like you said. You know, everybody knows that, you know, Tyler Cook he's our guy. So, you know, but after that, they all want playing time. They all want a shot, and I think to a man, they're good people and they want to perform well. We got some guys that are struggling right now, and you're right, we are young. But we have enough experience, in my opinion, to be playing better than we're playing. I don't want to use that as an excuse. Because those sophomores played a lot last year. And, Jack's, struggling playing like a freshman. He did a couple good things today. He'll come around. He's getting there. I know Luka was great. He was great. And really proud of him. Macy Daly is learning on the fly. He played point guard. He's playing point guard. He's guarding good players. He's trying to attack. He's trying to make plays. He's trying to play mistake-free basketball. I thought, you look at him, I was really pleased with him. I thought he was great. But then you talk about inconsistency. Absolutely. It's inconsistent in terms of performance collectively, but then it's also individually. Like you look at Isaiah, a complete non-factor in the first half. I thought he was great in the second half. He played like himself. He played like he's capable of playing. Missed a couple shots early and kind of shut it down. He's got to be able to trust his talent and just be a player all the time. Be aggressive. And he missed a couple shots, probably shouldn't have taken it in the second half, but I want him to be aggressive because that's when he's at his best and that's when we're better, when he's like that.
I know you've touched on a lot of these things already, but where do you have to go or what do you have to do to sort of get to a higher level of performance, just boiled down to the simplest things?
Well, it's not that simple. It's not. We've got a lot of things that we have to do. Okay, we made a step. Okay, we rebounded better than we did the other night on the offensive glass. We only had 11 turnovers. Okay, yeah, maybe we could have had a couple less, but we weren't turning it over. I thought we executed our set plays in the second half. All right, but if you look at the anatomy of this game, okay, what did it come down to? That 16-1 run, where some of our shot selection wasn't awful, but it wasn't what it needed to be in that situation. We were scoring early, but we were content to trade. Like, let's get some stops. So instead of being 12-12, it's 12-6, and that that didn't seem like much at the time, but over the course of a game, it's a big deal. We had a chance. Isaiah missed 2 free throws there. We get into our press. It was 14-12. He missed those 2 free throws, and then they score, and then we missed 5 or 6 free throws in the first half. We're down, I think, 14. So we're working, getting to the free throw line, but then not getting any payback from it. So you're proud of one aspect of we're grinding, we get to the free throw line, Luka got an offensive rebound, get fouled, and then we missed a couple free throws. So it's unfortunate, but that is something that's correctable. We've been shooting decent free throws. 16 for 23, 70%. Hopefully better in an 11-point loss, but yeah. So it's not something you can just say, okay, do this and everything's better. It's a collective and it's individual.
So you're on the road for 3 straight now, including to Maryland, where you had some good memories last year. Is that anything you can tap into, I guess, going over there?
Yeah, we'll show them some highlights of that, what we did well. We really pushed it. We really executed in that game. I thought our defense was good. Our zone was really active. Played a lot of zone in that game. So we got to get our zone better than it is, more active, more aware. And I thought our activity was good in the first half, but our attention to detail, like for example, who's in the game and where are they? Okay, so they had to line up with some non-shooters on the perimeter, and we're slides took us there, and then the leading scorer in the league is open behind him. All right, well, we're not worried about them. We're worried about him. It's those kinds of things that are problematic and maybe somewhat as a result of inexperience. So they're trying to be aggressive. They're trying to be active. But it's all about being aware, active and aware at the same time, which we weren't. But again, we were at times. Like, it wasn't a complete disaster. There was times where we were really doing good stuff, and individuals were playing really well. But then there's stretches where we don't, And we've got to be able to get through that and be a little tougher.
We'll take one or two more.
A lot of your guys are really active on social media, and in given the instant sort of criticism or analysis of that, how do you feel like they handled that and responded to that?
I have no idea what they do on social media. So I can't respond to that. I don't read any of it. I'm not on it. You know, maybe I'm too old, but maybe I should read it. Are you telling me I should read it?
No, I just...
Recommending?
Probably not.
Okay. All right. Okay.
How much are these spurts where you guys don't get a basket a product of not having a go-to guy like you've had here in the past?
Well, you know, I would argue that we have a go-to guy in Tyler Cook. You know, I think we can go to J-Bo. There's various people we can go. Cordell didn't have a good game tonight. We can go to him. We'll run some stuff for him. So I'm not worried about that. Now, you know, that said, you know, Marble, White, Utah, and Jock they're a whole other world. You know, not only were they really talented, they were as tough-minded foursome as I've ever been around. And that's, you know, it sort of permeated the locker room, those four guys. And everybody else kind of came with them. So, you know, I think TC has that ability. But right now, you know, he's still a young player, and he's, like I said, I mean, guy's 28-8, and I'm saying in the locker room, hey, man, how do you get 0 offensive rebounds? And so I'm challenging him to be great. Yeah, you were really good. We lost. If you're great, maybe we win. All right, so he comes back and gets 6 offensive rebounds. So, you know, that's a big step in my view. That shows you the kind of character that he has and the capability of being great.
Is that where you miss Pete the most?
Yeah.
Maybe even more than on the court is just in the locker room?
Pete as fierce a competitor as I've ever been around. And again, it was infectious in the locker room, in practice, in the weight room, in the off season, in the summertime. And, you know, if his teammates weren't coming with him, he would let them know about it. And sometimes you need that. You know, it can't always be me or my staff. It's got to be that guy. And you know, that'll come.
Is that with the youth, though, trying to find somebody to do that?
You know, it wasn't TC or J-Bo's role last year.
Right.
You know, Bear's trying to do it. He's giving you everything in his tank, and then when he's running on empty and we can't get a timeout to get him out, then he becomes a liability. And he knows that, so we realize that we'll put him back in, but in that stretch, you know, he's got nothing left. And, you know, again, then it comes down to somebody else got to recognize that and step up for him and help. You know, we got to suck it up and make sure it doesn't become a problem.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Players next door.